What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Tap In Podcast. It's your host, Hutch. With me, as always, are Mateo and Julius. And on today's show, we will be talking about our three teams, of course, Man City, Villa, and Chelsea. But I think what we really want to talk about later in the show is Arsenal and their two matches and how nervous they should be right now. But let's start it off with the big-time winners. Man City beat Newcastle yesterday. 2-1. Julius, it was a good game, was it not?
It was a good game. And, we've faced them a bunch of times already at this point in the season. This is the fourth match that we've had with them. The reverse fixture in the Prem, it ended also 2-1. But Newcastle were the winners that time. And then we met them in the EFL Cup, and we looked pretty convincing in both of those matches. I think winning like 2-0 in the first one, and then like 3-1, or maybe even, I think it was 3-1 in the second. So, I mean, yeah, it was a great game from the off. Definitely very physical, a lot of back and forth. But I don't think I don't think it's controversial at all to say that we were in charge of most of that game, where we had them pinned back pretty early on. And Nico O'Reilly, bro, I mean,
Yeah.
First off, kid's like 6'3". He's 20 years old. He's a midfielder from the academy. He's been playing left back almost the whole season. And now that we got Aït-Nouri back, and Aït-Nouri has been looking all right, he's been shifted into the midfield to kind of give some legs. And the boy has a shot on him. I think even in one of the previous Newcastle games in the EFL Cup, I think there was that dink over the keeper. But in this one, he comes out, and we're trying a new formation after those January signings. We're kind of trying to figure out the winning formula, where we have two strikers on the field with Holland and Marmoush, Semenyo possibly playing 10, and then there's some interchange between those three. And more often than not, Nico O'Reilly is the runner coming in from midfield to capitalize on that cross, or to be the outlet ball when those three strikers or three forwards kind of get caught up in possession. And I mean, in the 13th minute, the ball gets played into him, and he just has a laser. He doesn't even look for Holland, who's, I believe it's to his left, and just rockets it in. But it was a very good game, because Lewis Hall from Newcastle, like less than 10 minutes later,
Scored.
Equalized. Yeah. It was,
Arsenal
and it was
style
a nice shot.
corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll run up and everything.
Yeah. The initial corner doesn't meet its target, but it gets bounced back to like the top of the box, basically. Lewis runs onto it, and I think there's a deflection, but regardless, he goes into the back of the net. Great shot. And it becomes a very interesting game from that moment on. And then maybe like 3 minutes after that, we get another instance where there's some interchange between those front three. Semenyo plays in Holland, who...
That was a great pass, by the way.
That cross was
sick.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And O'Reilly comes in with a towering header, sends it past Pope in the opposite corner, and from that point on, it
was over and done with.
Pretty much. I mean,
that's not true. I mean,
yeah, the scoreline didn't change, but I don't think we can discredit the fact that Newcastle had a lot of great chances. In fact, right before the end of the half, Dan Burn heads it into the back of the net, but it gets called back for offsides. I don't know if it was Dan Burn that was offsides, but somebody was offsides in that build-up, and so it gets taken off. But after that, I mean, up until the halftime whistle, City gets opportunity after opportunity, and again, that interchange of that front three, defenders not knowing who to mark. Do I go with this guy? Oh, he dropped deep. No, but then this guy's making a run. It was a lot of that.
Ryan Cherky really messed up. I think it was him.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't know who it was, but it was a ball that came over.
Yep.
And it was like just one defender, and He wanted that. He wanted that goal so
He wanted
bad.
glory.
He could have just passed it right
Yep.
to
Holland.
to Holland. So easy, but he was like, "Nah, I want this."
If y'all
Yeah,
lost
yeah,
that, he would have. It would have been on him.
100%, because and I think this is like a second opportunity this is the second time that Nori has done exactly the same thing. I think he did it in the Champions League as well, where it's just an easy layoff pass and we just secure that victory. You know, ultimately, I would have liked to have seen him pass. I would have liked to seen Holland get on the score sheet, but I think it was a good performance from the team in general. Holland was tracking back in the fence, kind of locking up Dan Burn in the end, because once, despite us continuing to get chances and trying to get that third goal, we looked pretty defensively solid. Um, you know, Rodri looks like he's coming back to his best. Nico O'Reilly, as good as he's going forward, is pretty good going back, locking things down. And like I said, Holland was putting in tackles. He was covering Dan Burn. I think he definitely helped deal with some of the physicality that, Newcastle are known for and how they've beaten up on multiple teams. And right at the death after that Ait Nori incident, Holland gets a great opportunity, like in the 90th minute plus like 3, and it gets blocked, gets popped up into the air. Foden gets a great opportunity. He controls it, bounces it over a defender, and then just gets blocked again.
What happened to
Pope.
what happened to Foden, man? He kind of
I was
disappeared.
just gonna ask that.
Have
That's
you
crazy
seen
that you said
that
that.
Simpsons meme where Homer just goes into
Into
the
the
hedges?
gas?
That's
Yeah.
what happened to Foden in this second half of the season. He just kind of just disappeared.
Is it just
100%.
Manuel coming on and everybody shifting around?
I think more than Semenyo, it's Turkey. Well, we just for context, so we've talked about it before, where 2 seasons ago he was PFA Player of the Year, and he was looking great. He was scoring for fun. He was looking phenomenal, but after last season, he had a dramatic fall off, and then we saw that purple patch in like November, December, where him and Turkey were interlinking. And since then, honestly, I mean, January was pretty abysmal for City, um, but he hasn't really come back on firing. Him or Holland is starting to get some goals, but we can clearly see that both of them have dropped off slightly, and thankfully, because Turkey is able to create and play pretty much in all the same positions as Foden, I think he's beating him for the starting place. And with Marmoush coming back from AFCON, the last couple games he's been a starter. So Turkey will be the guy off the bench, and then Foden is that extra release valve or possible creativity or goal threat coming in late in games. I think what Guardiola is trying to do right now is just try to play him into form along with Holland. Holland's getting a lot more minutes, but I think Foden is kind of break glass in case of emergency situation right
Holland
now.
had a couple of opportunities where he normally would have had it would have just been bread and butter. I think he had a shot that was a bit wide. I think he struck from the left. I feel
Mhm.
like I've
There was a
seen
couple
him.
of those.
I feel like I've seen Holland score that a million times.
Without a doubt.
You think it's just towards the end of the season? I think you said last season, City and some of those players were starting to kind of fatigue towards the end of the second half of the season. You think that that's what's happening with Holland? He's petering out a little bit, or you think it's just kind of like, oh, it's just a blip, couple of months, and then he'll kind of be back?
I think since he's been introduced into the Premier League, we've seen even when we were winning it all in 23, that he is he's a streaky striker, honestly. Which I wasn't anticipating, having saw him briefly in, Dortmund. The numbers are obviously impressive, but there are moments where he'll go on a great goal scoring run, dry up, and then have to play his way back into form. And I think that's what we're seeing again. I think it may be, we had that, what was it, like 8 games that he didn't score at all. And then he got that penalty kick in Liverpool. And then the very next week, he scored from open play. I think we're getting back to the point where he'll be a reliable goal scorer. But I think with Semenyo and Marmoush coming on and looking pretty good, well, Semenyo especially, but Marmoush coming off of a pretty decent AFCON campaign, I think it's alleviated some of the stress for Holland. But still not back at his best. And this is the point in the season, as as we were talking before, where we're on the chase and we need goals to start coming in. Hopefully it comes from Holland, but luckily we have other weapons that can maybe make up for some of his missed chances right now.
Well, hey, man, y'all on him. Y'all all over him. I know that. This is what I
It was
think.
2 points.
When you're about to leave a room, you turn off the lights and you feel like something on the back of your neck, and you're like, I gotta get out of here. Y'all never had that feeling?
I think
No,
your house
just
is
me.
haunted.
Yeah,
Nah,
I was gonna
man.
say Sixth
Nah,
Sense.
hey,
Is
people
it?
out
Do you
there,
see
y'all know
dead
what I'm
people?
talking about. Nah.
No, I know
think
what you mean.
I think you should get a priest or something to bless your house, my guy.
Some sage. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You get like a weird feeling
You
on the
get a
back of your
weird
neck.
feeling on your
Yeah.
back of your neck, and I think that's what's happening in Arsenal right now, if I'm being honest. But we're not there yet. First, let's talk about how disappointing my team is again for like the third week in a row. So
Going
we
on.
played Leeds United. We drew 1-1. All right. Leeds was playing a very high line in a very narrow formation. So whenever we would try and get the ball through the middle, they would just have a lot of defenders and midfielders just crash onto whoever had the ball. And so we'd either get into the middle and probably immediately lose it, or immediately lose it every time, and we could never get anything going. And so that's what the first half was, just us trying to go through the middle, not trying to go wide, because the guy on the analyst or whoever was like, I don't understand, go wide. They're playing in the middle of the field and they're playing a high line. You need to get on the outside and cross the ball in. But they didn't make that adjustment. Leon Bailey did not have himself a very good game. He did not have a very good effort. When he would lose the ball, he would just walk back on defense. And of course, Onana, I don't know, he wasn't a very good choice, I'd say, for this formation and how high of a line that they were playing, because he's not much of a playmaker, as I've said before. So he's there for his physicalities, and we didn't need that in this game. It was And it's rough because of injuries, but I think Ross Barkley should have probably been in the game a lot sooner. Let's talk about the goal, bro. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was one of the most beautiful free kicks I've ever seen in my life.
Puskas, man, that thing's gonna be a Puskas nominee for sure.
For sure.
Are we talking about from Stash?
From Stack?
Stack.
Yeah,
outside the box, a little far away.
Yeah, near post.
Him bent it in a near post corner, because Emi Martinez, he cheated over where where everybody was at, all the forwards and whatnot. So he got caught lacking, hit it right in the top bend, and it was beautiful. It was there was nothing he could do about it, and that first half was just, we couldn't do anything, even if we did have the ball 75% of the game. And the second half, this is where my problem with Unai Emery, and I love Unai Emery. He's a great manager. But this has been his problem over the last few weeks, I'd say, is when to make the changes of the tactics and players. Because even coming out of halftime, he didn't make any changes for like the first 10, 15 minutes. We still kept playing up the middle, and it wasn't working out. Leon Bailey was turning the ball over and walking back on defense like he didn't even care. And so finally, I want to say in like the 55th to 60th minute, he finally subbed off Onana and put on Jadon Sancho. And then a little bit later, he put in Tammy Abraham, I think in the 70th, 75 minute. He needs to start putting Tammy Abraham in sooner. I don't know why he doesn't, because Ollie Watkins was getting caught off sides all game. He got caught offsides like 5 times, 5 or 6 different times. And so I don't. And then you know what? They didn't even take off Ollie Watkins. We switched to a 2
I think
striker formation.
Yeah, because I think Buendia came off,
When Dia came
and
off, yeah.
Abraham took his spot. But I mean, we talked about it when you guys were first being linked with him in January. He's coming up pretty clutch a couple times. Like, yes, obviously you would have wanted to have a winner today, but he brought it
He
back, and I
came,
think
yeah.
in midweek he scored a pretty
Saved
substantial
us some.
goal as well.
Yeah, he saved us a point. Saved us from dropping points, which was very nice. It was a good goal, good cross from the corner. He kneed it in like his thigh, or not even. It was a weird goal because he hit it not thinking it was going in, and when he hit it and he looked up and it was he was like and it floated right over into the.
Did I do that?
He was like, let's go. And then when they put it on Jadon Sancho and Ross Barkley is really when we started picking it up. We started getting on the wings and getting outside and creating pressure and getting crosses over. And if we would have done that out the halftime gate, like switched formations at halftime, 2 strikers, put Jadon Sancho in for Liam Bailey, Ross Barkley for Onana, so we had more playmaking. Maybe we could have got a second goal. We had opportunities and we just missed them. There was a crazy save by their keeper on Onana, who was like a foot away from goal. He somehow saved it. And we got lucky is all I'm going to say. We got a little bit lucky. We have been. A little bit of luck has been saving our points in these last few weeks. So we're still hanging on for dear life over here at Aston.
I mean, still solidly third place. Chelsea are next up, but still 6 points behind you. So
we got lucky they drew.
Yeah, which we're gonna get onto right now. But you guys are still making a case.
What was going on with that one opportunity? Who was it? Ollie Watkins, where there was a bit of a scramble with the goalie.
That was the Onana. Onana had, I forgot where the pass came from, but he went for it.
But he stopped. He froze. He could have tapped it in.
The ball sat right there. The ball sat right there, and he kind of froze. And that's when the keeper just smacked it out with his hand.
Was he just trying to prevent accidentally kicking the keeper and then getting a red or something?
Cares about that, man? Kick the ball in.
I watched that and I was like, damn, man, that's your second goal right there.
And that was the opportunity. Because I couldn't believe that Onana's first shot got saved. He was like right there. I didn't know how he reacted. But then I don't know what happened to Watkins. He just froze. So that's a whole lot of dams going on these last few weeks.
Damn.
But we persevere, man. Hopefully we're supposed to get.
Are you guys still pretty affected by injuries, or are people starting to come back?
No one's coming back
at all this season. Everybody's out. They've been put down.
Boubacar is out for the season. He's not coming back. May as well be out. He's slated to come back at late April, which is kind of like there'll be like 3 games left or 2 games left. So it was like,
it can make a difference.
It could. It depends on how the rest of the season goes. The only person that would make a difference is Tielemans, and he's supposed to come back midway through March or late March. That's the only thing that could make a difference right now is him coming back. Give him a shot, man. Do something.
Who you guys have next?
We have Wolves.
Okay.
So I don't know what to expect out of that. We were supposed to win this game, but we didn't. So, I'm just keeping my hopes up.
Leeds is not a joke team. Leeds is a proper, very aggressive, pretty solid defensively team. They're not, everybody's like, oh, they're a promoted side. And to a certain degree, it's true. But, I don't think there's a single team in the Premier League right now that you can just call an easy 3 points. Not a single team. I think it's probably what makes this league so damn competitive is it's every time, like, I feel bad for people who are deep into gambling because you hear these folks being like, I got a for sure parlay and Yeah, that for sure parlay is BS. You get some crazy losses
There's
here
no
and there.
locks here, man.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
But
it's
yeah,
it's tough. It's a tough league. That's what
we
makes it
go.
fun to watch.
We're gonna have to fight. That's for sure.
For your right to party.
We're gonna have to fight, man. Because I don't. The way we're playing right now, we're definitely not better than Man City or Arsenal for sure. Shoot, I don't even know if we're better than Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United. I think we're just kind of hanging on by a thread. So I guess we'll see. We'll have to see. People gonna have to step up,
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
think we need to play Jadon Sancho a lot more as well.
You think so? You think you would get a lot more attacking quality
A lot
having
more
him on
attacking
from the
opportunities
start?
because he likes to be a little bit of a wizard with the ball, and so he's much better getting past defenders than Leon Bailey is. I think Leon Bailey's a little bit better for playmaking opportunities, but Jadon Sancho will get into the box, trying to get around people, even if he's not successful. At least I like an aggressive team, and so he's aggressive when he gets that ball. So I think he should play a bit more, and he has the potential to be pretty good, I think.
So maybe him and Tammy Abraham from the start might see some of these score lines go your way.
Yeah,
What you're saying?
I'd say give Ali Watkins a chance to come on as a sub, like they did midway through the season when they
Get some
would
rest.
use Malin. Yeah. Yep. Maybe if you see someone playing better than him in his position, maybe something will happen. That's wishful thinking. But Mateo, you guys drew with Burnley. Well, what happened there? Was it the same as me? Just disappointment?
Yeah, just disappointment.
Tough Saturday
I
morning.
saw you guys got a red card. What was that about?
Yeah.
You guys are
Fana
red cards are
got.
coming back.
I know. I thought we're bringing red cards back. Yeah, man. I thought honestly, I thought with Rosinier, we had been looking a little bit more disciplined in the last few games. I think the amount of red cards had yellows specifically had been less. I feel like during the Maresca era, you would see almost like 3 to 4 yellows per game. I think that kind of came down quite a bit in the last few uh, games. But yeah, Fofana with a double yellow, very clear yellows. Honestly, that second one could have easily been a straight red, cleat straight onto the foot. Um, Disappointing, but like at the same time, I think that we suffered from some substitutions that were maybe a little bit on the not cowardly, but cautious side. It's literally the exact same lesson that Maresca learned during the Man United game, where we just went 5 in the back, got a bunch of tall people. We took off all of our talent and creativity, and we're just saying like we're gonna hold on for this 1-0 lead. And we brought on we took off Cole Palmer, we took off Joao Pedro, we put on Delap, we put on Tosin, and we brought on Mamadou Sarr for his height, but I think he deserved better than that. And ultimately, it didn't really gain you anything. Um,
You don't think that's a little unfair? I feel like it was. I mean, it was directly a reaction to Wesley Fofana getting that second yellow, and then you
Yeah.
guys going down to 10 men.
You kind of had to lock up, or at
But-
least tried to. Right?
Yeah,
but we've been holding on to possession. So we were so dominant holding on to possession. I think that if he had just done a clean, I kind of understand Cole Palmer. Just we've been managing his minutes or whatever. If we had done a Cole Palmer for a Sar, or Cole Palmer for Achampong, or Cole Palmer for somebody else, just a straight defender attacker swap, or I would have even said maybe even Neto or
Let-
Enzo for the swap.
let's be honest. What you're mad about is the fact that it was Tosin,
Tosin!
your arch nemesis, that came on for Cole Palmer, because he did bring in a defender. He just brought on a shitty defender.
He brought on 2 defenders, man. He brought on 2 defenders, and one of them is not my cup of tea. Listen, he's not my nemesis. He's just
Hey
put a
man, put
real
some
bad taste
respect
in
on
my
my boy
mouth.
Tosin's
On
name.
my mouth. You know, he looks a little bit like Will Smith, and I love Will Smith, so um, he has that going for him. Yeah, man. Honestly, it was a bummer because we started off so strong. I mean, the first, I think within the first 10 minutes, we had an incredible pass from Caicedo onto Neto, and then a cross from Neto to Joao Pedro that literally scored the goal with the goalie. Goalie went in the basket, everybody all together, nice and tidy.
Yeah,
And from
4
that
minutes
goal,
in.
I was like, "Oh, this is done. They're cooked. We're gonna be sweeping up here." And I don't know what it was today. There was a lot of great opportunities. Cole Palmer had an incredible opportunity when Joao Pedro cleared the ball from a set piece, and one of the Burnley defenders, I forget who it was, had a heavy touch and outpaced him, and he just shot that ball too early. Just shot it right at the goalie. Um, Honestly, some might say that an earlier Cole Palmer would have just chipped that over the goalie and scored that in all day. But I don't know, man. It was disappointing, but you know what? I hope what this means is that lessons are learned. I hope that Rosinier said in the past that everybody has a clean slate this season now that he's manager. So people have to disappoint him directly, and I hope Tosin has done that. I hope that he's
Not your
learned some
nemesis, though.
lessons. Not my nemesis. And actually, you know what? I'll be fair. I'll be fair. That goal from that set piece wasn't exactly fully Tosin's fault. I did rewatch that. Audrey Santos he didn't mark his or follow his marker because there was an attacker that just kind of swept through from the top of the box and kind of came in while Tosin was kind of being pinned down. I think Tosin could have fought for the ball a little bit more. I mean, he's a strong guy. He could have probably done a little bit more, and that's kind of one of my complaints with Tosin is that he's a little bit not too nonchalant for a defender. He's like ore farming out there.
Hey, hold on. First off, you said Tosin looks like Will Smith.
No?
There's no way.
Nah, he looks a
Yeah, I
little
don't
bit.
really see it.
No?
I don't see it. Not
Let
at
me see.
all. What?
Not Tosin.
It looks like Meek Mill, if anything.
So my question is then, okay, with Fofana having that red card and he has a 1-game suspension, right? We talked about that. Who are you seeing coming on as that starting defender next to Chalobah? If not Tosin,
I
who's
think
your?
Sar. I
You
think
think so
Sar.
already?
Yeah, man. I
He's already
think
built up that good of a
look,
rapport.
it's not even that I built up, right? There's no building up. This would have been his build up. He should have started this game, right? He played during Hull, he started during Hull. He should have started here. Because from here on out, it's just tough matches we have. So I don't trust Badiashile. I don't
Cool name
trust
though.
Tosin. It's gonna have to be Sar or Achampong, and Achampong's kind of young, and Achampong is probably gonna
Kind of
have to
young Mamadou Sarr is 20.
20.
Achampong,
We looked at the same time.
Achampong
Okay.
is young.
19.
Okay, no, I'm saying though, he's only 1 year older than Achampong is.
Mamadou Sarr, yeah, but I feel like he's had more experience. He was just in AFCON. He won AFCON with Senegal. He was the starting center back in Strasbourg. Achampong is kind of a homegrown talent. He's had you know some good opportunities and I think he should come up as well. I mean he's supposed to be and he supposedly can play in the left as well. He can play as a left back. He can play as a right back. So we can probably see him in a lot of different positions. But yeah, with Fofana gone, probably Achampong I could see. I don't want to see Tosin, even though he probably will come back. Um, I don't know. We'll see. It was a really disappointing game because ultimately I really did think that I saw a lot of really good playing. I saw a lot of really good free flowing, chaotic football, like I've been saying. A lot of position swapping. I was seeing I was seeing like Reece James and left in as a winger at certain points, which I wasn't sure I liked, but I like the chaos, the risk. But ultimately we couldn't you know make anything from those opportunities. So Cole Palmer was looking even better. I mean, he was making some great passes, some great opportunities. The Burnley defenders did a great job at blocking some really good shots. So kudos on them. We again, it's the Premier League. None of these teams are easy, so they did a great job defending and negating a lot of opportunities. But we got to learn from that game. We just got to move forwards. There's a lot of big teams coming up. I really think that we have the talent, man. It's just I don't know what it is. I feel like we kind of trip up on ourselves. It's mostly psychological. I think it's that immaturity. We score one early, we then just go down the gear and just try to
Hmm.
coast for the rest of it instead of staying up. And we've I think we have the record in the Prem right now for most points dropped from winning positions.
Are you
Damn.
guys really first?
I
Because
think so.
what you
I think
just
it's
were
15
just
points or something like
describing
that.
It's not
reminds me a lot
Arsenal?
of City, just sitting back on their laurels and just waiting for
Yeah,
something to
but we don't
happen.
but we don't have the legacy of City, right? We're not
No, but
six-time Premier League champions.
no, but what you were saying
We're
is
we're
going up,
young. We
but
should be
going up and then
hungry.
just hoping that you're not capitalizing on the advantage that you've created, and you're sitting back, and then you get gut punch sometimes.
I just wonder
It's,
how
it's a feeling
Rosier
I'm
is going to
familiar
react to
with.
this. I think this and Leeds are the first couple of you know speed bumps. They're really going to test his personality. He's been kind of like Mr. Good Guy, Mr. Nice Guy, having fun with the players. Everybody's really happy. I really wonder how you manage that persona, the happy feels, the good vibes, with also, trying to get it into their heads that this isn't a joke. This isn't what they should be looking for is a championship title, is sorry, Champions League title, is a Premier League title. Um, and not just trying to get past a game against Burley. And the crazy part is he literally just let him go on a vacation. Not earlier this week. They were all in Dubai. Yeah,
Sometimes those
Enjoying
team
that oil
building
money.
trips, they help, sometimes they do not.
which I don't blame Rossinier at all because the team hasn't had an off season, right? They went literally straight from the end of last season to basically the Champions League campaign, just like Man City did.
Club World Cup.
Right, right. Um, and then right back into the league again, and we saw a bunch of injuries because of it. And so now that we had a proper week off without a game because of the Champions League qualifiers we avoided. Yeah, of course, go somewhere warm, get fit, get healed, have a little downtime, relax, come back with try to not to burn out, trying to not get fatigued. Very disappointing, but alas, we proceed. We're still in
And it
the we're
doesn't
still in the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. It's not mathematically impossible for us to win the Premier League yet. So who knows? Maybe like 19 players from different teams all get injured at once, and we win it.
don't you wish that on me, Bobby Ricky. Don't you do that to me.
Hey, 9 of those are
But
Not
in Arsenal. So
not Bobby Ricky.
but don't you wish that on me, Bobby Ricky.
Ricky
But and it
Bobby, my
doesn't
guy.
get
This is Ricky Bobby, gang.
Ricky Bobby.
Bobby Ricky.
Whatever. Bobby Ricky. Listen, and it doesn't get easier for you guys because next up is Arsenal, and then right
No.
after that is Mr. Aston Villa over here. So
Yeah, I don't think. Let me see what the fixtures
Senior is
are.
gonna get tested
Oh yeah,
very, very soon.
we have. I mean, the only in the Premier League, the only like mid-level team or mid-table team that we have for the rest of the season is Everton, and Everton's doing great. So yeah, it's really gonna be a big test. And honestly, I think somebody mentioned this. Rosinier has one thing that the owners are asking of him. It's to make Champions League football next season. I could easily see him if he doesn't make that. There's a solid chance that he doesn't make it through and get sacked.
You think already? We're talking about that?
Look,
Sack him so he can get hired by Tottenham.
Don't you wish that on that man? That is a nice man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. I hope not. He really is talented. He's really a really good coach. He's really impressed me. I think most of the time his substitutions have been great. And I like the way he speaks. I like his persona. I like his character. I really hope that he becomes a legend of Chelsea. I really want that for him. I really do. But this is a tough league. This is a tough game. So all you could do is hope for the best for them.
Now we were moving on to the games and team we really want to talk about because how much we hate them, right? So
yeah, Arsenal. Boo!
Here comes the hate portion of our show here. Arsenal tied with Wolves after coming out the gate hot. They scored 2 goals in 10 minutes, something crazy like that.
Saka scored in the first 5 minutes.
His first goal in like 12 games, they said.
Probably because I think he was playing out of position. Oh no, in this one they had him as a cam.
Yeah, cam. He was cam. And they had to do with the locks at Madueke. He was on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, right after
what
that
happened? I don't know. I didn't see most of the game.
It was a lot of didn't they get beat off of a set piece with Hugo Bueno?
Yeah,
that initial goal.
I don't remember the first one. I remember the second one. No. The second one was a big error.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what.
Yeah, the second
one
was
Gabriel
and was it Szoboszlai?
No, Szoboszlai
is
Liverpool.
It was Gabriel.
It was Gabriel and Raya that like collided.
They both went to the ball at the same time.
But then I thought it bounced off of. It bounced off of somebody.
No, I don't think it did. I think it just bounced off of Raya's hands and right in front of the Wolves player, and he just cranked it.
Yeah.
And then it went off of somebody. It went off somebody's like after
Calafiori.
That's right.
He went down to like clear it out. It bounced off the post and it hit his leg.
Yeah,
it went in. So that was
comedy.
And then there was another thing after that because that was when I don't remember when that was, but there was somebody went down on Arsenal, and Cole Palmer is like, "Yo, get up now. We have to go."
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice, my fault. Yeah. They're both white. I can't tell them apart.
Yeah, he was trying to rile up everybody. I mean, I think he was the only person on that team towards the end of
we gotta go. We gotta go.
Everybody was back up. They were all like, done. Yeah, that's not the mindset of a champion just giving up like that, you know.
I just felt bad because he was really trying to, guys, we can go.
I think he's the only one of that team that really truly deserves any kind of, maybe that's not true.
Who, Declan Rice?
Declan Rice. I feel like I just hate him the least because he seems like a nice guy.
I like Declan. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah. And what he did against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I can't deny that was talent last year. But yeah, you know, he's probably the most likable out of.
I'll be honest with you. It was a midweek game. Those were tough for us. We all are very employed. All I know is I audibly said, "Oh, no way," in the middle of of an area, and had people asking me what that was about, and I had to explain to them what it was, and it was very embarrassing. Because they were all like, "Oh, work related, something crazy."
Because dude, I was at work and I got the update from FOPMob 2-2. I was like, no fucking way. Yeah. And I texted you guys. I was like, "There's no way." I didn't even know there was a game. I had no idea, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
they drew
the Wolves, relegation bound Wolves.
I got on Twitter, and I got to the clip. The clip of the Wolves fans, second again, ole, ole. I was
I
like,
love
there's
that.
no way. That's hurt. The whole stadium was just second again. I was like, oh, that hurts.
The only thing that could have made that better is if Tottenham had really come in clutch today. And
nobody in their right mind really thought that Tottenham was.
nobody in their right mind
But we
thought
were
that
allowed
Wolves
to
was gonna
hope.
draw.
We were
That's
allowed
fair.
to hope, okay? We were all hoping for a Spurs masterclass, a
No,
new manager bounce with this
Yeah,
Igor
we
Tudor
were.
guy.
No. I don't know what it is about Tottenham, but they do not care to win anything. I don't know if it's the new stadium. I don't know. Like, those players are done. They have senioritis. They are ready for next season or something. I don't know what it is. I sent you guys that video of Tudor yelling at, who was it? Vanderven? Trying to tell him
On Tottenham. Yeah.
Tottenham, yeah. Try to tell him, run down, run, go. And he was just walking, like ignoring him. Brand new, you can't tell me that it's because he doesn't rate Tudor. He just got there. And they would do the exact same thing to Thomas Frank. And don't get me wrong, I think the brand of football that Thomas Frank brought, a team that was very aggressively, offensive, and making them way more defensive was probably not a good fit. But these players don't respect their coaches, and I don't know what it is. And until you have a more galvanized team, honestly, like they just deserve to get demoted, go to the Champions League and get your shit together.
Dang.
Look, you're not seeing. I don't see that from the Wolves. I don't see that from Burnley. I don't see that from West Ham. I don't see that from Nottingham Forest. All those players are playing for their lives every single day, every single time. Today, I watched them against Liverpool. They were Nottingham Forest. They were playing for their lives. I don't see that. I don't sense that with the exception of one person, which is Xavi Simons. How many times you don't think so? On the breakaway, on the counter.
I think we saw very
counter,
different games, or you're
on the
basing,
counter. On the
hold
counter.
On.
Hold
you
on.
want a response
You
or not?
interrupted me, first of all.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, buddy.
On the counter,
you didn't like my face when I said Xavi Simons?
Xavi Simons in this game would have the ball and run it in the transition, and nobody else would be trying to come up with him. And he would just and don't get me wrong, he got his he wasn't good in this game. He had wayward passes. He couldn't beat his man, but he was trying. He was running. He was working, and I didn't feel like anybody else was trying.
Look, I was surprised they even scored a goal after that first Arsenal goal. I thought Arsenal scored, and I was like, "Yep, it's over."
No.
But then they came back, scored that goal, and I was like, "All right." And then Arsenal scored again, I think.
In the second half.
Gyökeres? Yeah, in the second half.
Yeah,
Gyökeres.
great game for him.
And
realistically, I feel like we're being a little bit unfair to how Spurs were decent in the first half. They were okay.
Half, yeah.
In the first half, yeah. The collapse was catastrophic. And in that point, I can agree. Xavi Simons came out in the second half and looked a lot better. But there was plenty of opportunities in the first half where he was the reason why they weren't up ahead, because they had a couple clear-cut chances where Xavi Simons could have done something with it. Yves Bissouma and Dragusin were doing a pretty good job defensively, keeping Arsenal quiet, apart from that one moment of brilliance from Eze where, he had that goal off the volley. But Kolo Muani came up with that immediate response 2 minutes later and almost tied it up again. But then that got called off for...
Yeah, that got called off.
Yeah, a push on Gabriel.
Shit.
But
Oh, my God, bro. I couldn't believe that.
And that's the only reason why I was like,
my man barely touched
He put his hands on him, and that was it.
He was and Gabriel is like one of the biggest dudes on the pitch. So you're not going to tell me Kolo Muani, yes, he's tall, maybe he's powerful, but for that level of flop, there was a lot of flopping going around, but ultimately Arsenal capitalized.
That should have stayed,
Arsenal's
bro.
trying
I don't
every
know how
single
you
trick
saw that and was
of the
like,
dark arts.
that was a shove. No way that was a shove. My man barely touched him and he fucking fell out. Excuse me. But yeah, so how you feeling, Julius? Your team is pretty much the only team that can stop this massive chance that Arsenal have given themselves to win this league and stop all the annoying Arsenal fans on the internet from finally getting glory. Do you think you guys can catch them?
I think we could catch them, but I think even going back a couple weeks, I feel like the only team that's stopping Arsenal is Arsenal, because not being able to put away the quote unquote easier teams, and drawing again and again and again, um, it is what's keeping this race so tight. I think we can all agree that regardless of who wins, it's not a vintage Man City, it's not a vintage Arsenal. Um, both teams have plenty of faults in them. Both of them have dropped points at crucial moments. I think we can catch them. We can only do what we can, but we still need them to slip up at least one more time. I was hoping that after this game, be it a draw or a loss, as I was hoping, it would have been one more game they drop points, we could potentially leapfrog them. I think we talked about it
I
last week.
mean, oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
We
I was just gonna say I think it's really gonna come down to that game where they're coming to the Etihad.
But to be fair, I mean, you still have a shot. I mean, they play Chelsea next week,
Mm-hmm.
and even though they drew these past couple weeks, they're no slouches.
No,
They play
definitely not.
hard, and they're a talented team. So it's possible they could lose that or draw. Because the last couple of times they played each other have been some fights, maybe outside that last one, but they've been some pretty good matches. So anything
I
can
agree.
happen in those ones.
We held a draw with 10 men
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
first
So
time. I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully, we have a fully fit team. I know Fofana will be out probably for that game. Um, but hopefully we have a fully fit team. We have a vintage Cole Palmer. We have Pedro continuing his streak. Um, of I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be. I wouldn't be too surprised if we took some points from them, even if it's a draw. I really could see that happening. But listen, we need it just as much as they do. The top four, top five fight is very very tight. We're three teams are tied for fourth basically, or at least for those positions, right? And so well, they're gonna be hungry, and especially with these two really embarrassing draws. Chelsea better be on their they better be trying their hardest to really bring back this narrative that's being placed on them. So yeah, it's not gonna be easy. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, I don't think the road ahead for Arsenal is easy. They got to play, I think, Brighton and then Everton, which are not
mm-hmm.
easy teams to win against. So anything's possible.
You never
Anything.
know.
This is such a so from an outsider's perspective of this first season, on social media and on Mob and podcasts, I keep hearing this season is so weird, and I'm just like, I have no previous
Frame of reference.
information to base this off of. Why is this so weird? Why is what's happening in this table so damn weird? I'm asking you guys. I have no
Well,
idea.
Julius, because I'm also a newbie.
I think we all were coming into this season with the expectation that Liverpool were going to put up not just a title defense, but like potentially trying to go on and just win it again. The money that was spent, we
Half a
they
Billy.
basically won with Klopp's team and improved in almost every part of the field, and seemingly collapsed. Then Arsenal are supposed to be the front runners. They're dropping points consistently. Man City, we've been very hot and cold. the United might be good again. You know, they're giving Chelsea and Liverpool a run for the money for like just like you just said, three teams vying for fourth and fifth place. So it is a weird season, and the relegation battle has some teams that you wouldn't normally expect. Yes, we all agree. But, you know, for them to come off of a terrible season last year where they were also not they were just above relegation places, but they weren't fully drawn into it. But for them to have gotten worse, we all thought Thomas Frank was a great appointment initially, turned out to be a really bad one, and they're caught into that. You know, some of the teams that came up from the championship are actually decent. It's not immediately the three that come up go straight back down this season. It is a weird
It's
season.
just one
So
team that's probably going to be relegated that was promoted, right? Burnley,
yeah, exactly. Leeds and
Sunderland, or
Sunderland,
yeah.
yeah, they're looking great. Honestly, Everton were in trouble at the beginning of the season. Now they're in like ninth place. It's it has been an interesting season, all throughout the table, I would say. Now, can we capitalize and make Arsenal second again? We'll see. I don't know, but we can just only control what's in front of us
If
and
you had
win
to
every game.
pick between Arsenal winning the Champions League and Arsenal winning the Premier League title, which would you take?
Assuming they win one and they absolutely drop the other. I'd rather them win the Champions League.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know, with the league, I know it's what they've been wanting for so long, and you know they've never won the Champions League.
Right.
It
They should
would
lose both.
You can't if
that would
well,
be ideal.
yeah, but I'm just saying like if they lost the Champions League, you could still say Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that.
True,
I guess they will now. Maybe potentially.
Maybe.
Look, I
Or
don't think
But-
it's I don't
someone
think
saying
they're
they were
a
gonna
shoe
win
in
the
for the
quad.
Champions League like they are for well, I wouldn't say a shoe in for the Premier League, but I think they have their work cut out in the Champions League. Dortmund's got a really good run of games right now. They're second in the Bundesliga. I think they've been pretty much undefeated this whole year. You know, Bayern Munich is doing really, really well. Obviously, there's also all the Premier League teams that are on there. They're gonna give everybody a turn for their money. PSG is gonna have to come back up, and you know they won it last year, kind of in the same position that they're excuse me that they're in now, where they had to qualify for top for the 16 playoffs,
against
right?
us. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, but I think we can agree that their Arsenal look different in the Champions League. They look a lot more freer. They're less worried about like defending at all costs. They're a little bit more open to go and really press teams. I think maybe a lot of European teams aren't used to the physicality that we see week in week out in the Prem. So I feel like they went undefeated in that initial league phase for Champions League. So I a part of me thinks that they're due for another really, really deep run in the Champions League. Uh, coming so close last year, but just ultimately not coming up good against the eventual winners, PSG. But there's no denying that there's European pedigree teams out there that can just switch it on in the second half of the campaign and go on a run. I mean, Real Madrid is always lurking, no matter how shitty they are. They still make finals. They still make finals. This is their competition ultimately. City have won it, but we haven't looked super convincing. Yeah, we made top 8, but there was some bad losses in there. So, Chelsea, you could do us a favor. I don't know, but
look,
I could see them going
God willing.
further. do me a favor in the league, please, too. Oh God, Rossinier, come
I
on.
have one last question, really quick.
Okay.
If Arsenal bottled this, do you fire Arteta?
100%.
Yeah, I think
100%.
at this point, the whole time it's been, "Oh, okay, he's building up this amazing defensive team. We're backing him to the hilt." Bro, won FA Cup in 6 years, and it was like his first year with with Unai Emery's team, essentially. You gotta start getting over the line.
I feel like most managers win with less. I mean, Arteta has spent almost as much as Chelsea by himself in his tenure. I think he's like up to $1 billion in his time, where he's
Jesus.
basically been able to pick his exact team out to only win an FA Cup. You gotta do somebody else. You know who might actually be kind of good as a replacement, and maybe this is a hot take, and he's kind of a big fan. Thomas Frank.
Oh, no.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
Oh, man,
That team's already set up for that style of football, and he did great with Brentford. I mean, is that too weird?
I think there's definitely, and this is no disrespect towards Thomas Frank, but I think if you can't succeed at Tottenham, which yes, you are not getting backed in terms of like acquisitions of players, and they're more concerned about who's coming to London to perform, Beyonce or Adele or whoever the fuck it is that's going to be at their stadium. If that's what they're more concerned about, I I don't know. I just don't feel like, I think that jump from Brentford to Tottenham was too big to put him into Arsenal. I just
That's a
okay,
leap.
failing upwards. Yeah,
That's a leap
I
in
guess.
man.
No,
I don't think there's any
not
manager
Thomas Frank.
that can do well at Tottenham. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think that's a poison
It might be
chalice.
cursed. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think
They have to get
that's.
relegated. I think they need to.
Yeah, I think they have to be
reset the
relegated.
juju.
I think the owners have to really feel that drop in income from being demoted, and then they're gonna have to say, okay, we actually have to invest proper, buy some big names, sack or sell some of these, Romeros and whomever who are kind of. You don't think so? Romero, I think is.
No, no, no.
I
I
think
agree
he's
with
an.
you. I
I
think
think he's
Romero has to
a.
go
Yeah, I think he's stinking up the chemistry of this team with his attitude.
and the
Um,
captain
yeah, and he's
of
the
all people.
captain. Yeah. Um, and then get a proper manager. Get someone. Honestly, find somebody. Do a Chelsea and find someone good from the Champions League. Maybe get Frank Lampard and from Coventry. I think they're gonna be promoted, but um,
Nah, man, Wrexham.
Wrexham.
I don't know.
What about
Wrexham's
No,
close to being promoted. You guys play them
we
soon.
play them? Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Frank could go to Spurs. Chelsea and Spurs hate each other. That would be,
So what?
I mean, good for the rivalry, but
Jose
they
Mourinho.
might be in the championship. So
Jose Mourinho was a manager for Tottenham
he's a mercenary.
and United. Well, I mean, come on, that's like that's actually probably worse because he's a proper Chelsea legend.
He is,
And
but he
Gallagher,
is.
Gallagher was Chelsea's former captain and a proper Chelsea-born player, academy, everything. It's literally like if Reece James went to Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's
He
happened.
needed to get out of Spain pretty bad, I guess. I don't know.
All right, guys. This is another episode of the Tap In Podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. If you haven't done that, we post our clips and whatnot. And we will see you all next week. Peace out.